So that was an interesting podcast, wasn't it?
It was amazing.
I enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
We went off on a bit of a tangent. Let me ask Rick, how long is that podcast? An hour and a quarter. Bloody hell, we ranted on a little bit there,
just
didn't we?
a little bit.
Hydroponic myths. Episode 71. That's the episode we're on. Hydroponic myths. We talked about some of the common myths that you find circulating the hydroponics industry.
Some of the rumours.
The rumours?
Rumours. Some of the rumours and speculations over certain areas and aspects of hydroponics.
And we got some people to send us the questions of what myths they have heard.
Yeah.
And also you get to hear the new audio sample that we've got, the big bed chime. That's just the spring on the thing. It's nothing fancy, but I found it out when I knocked it before.
Absolutely amazed by it anyway.
It sounds great. It sounds like a good audio sample. Anyway, so we hope you enjoy this podcast on hydroponic myths. Go and get yourself a cup of tea because it's a long one, and enjoy. So we're back with hydroponic myths.
Okay, so there's a few myths or legends in the hydroponic industry. Today we're going to discuss them and see if we can... What's that programme on the telly? Mythbusters.
Mythbusters.
Yeah, so we're doing hydroponic
Mythbusters
today, but not visually yet until we do the YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
So what's the first one, Stephen? What have we got?
So the one that comes up most often is that hydroponics is expensive.
So this is what people say, really, isn't it?
I don't want
opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to get into hydroponics because it's expensive. It's going to cost me a lot of money. So rather than thinking of stuff off the top of my head, I've written a few things down there, some hobbies that people have. I'm going to go with the cheap hydroponic system, the cheapest that we do. You can buy a one-pot DWC, which is Deep Water Culture System, for £25. Just a single pot, Oxypot it's called, from Nutriculture. A basic feeding programme costs you £60. That would be Botanicare's card range, which they have a base, a bloom and a
so
grow.
That'd be a complete range.
Range, that's everything.
So
start to finish.
We've got 25 for the system.
Yeah.
We've got £60 for the... Yeah, okay.
And
so
then you've got
85.
Yeah, one light, which is your ballast, your 600 watt bulb and a shade.
Dual spectrum, so you can use it all the way through.
Veg and flower.
Okay,
cost
so
you
we're
£50.
on 85. 135.
Yeah, and then a few other extra items like light hangers, maybe a few syringes to get you mixing, a little mixing bucket. So all in, it's going to cost you about £150.
Yeah,
it's really cheap.
Yeah,
well, cheap. What is cheap? It's all perspective, isn't it? It's not cheap if you're buying a pair of socks, but it's very cheap if you're buying a car. And I know, personal, first-hand experience, people spend that in seconds in the bookmakers. You know them little roulette machines? You can do £100 spins. Do one spin every 30 seconds, you can spend £200 a minute. And I've seen people do it. What else do people do? A meal in a restaurant for 2 people easily comes over to over £150 in some of them nice restaurants.
Yeah, especially if you have a couple of glasses of wine, maybe a dessert wine to finish a dessert. You know what? That's what we do when we go out.
Yeah,
so.
On the NPK Christmas night out.
They cost a lot more than £150, let me tell you.
Just a night out with your mates.
Yeah, with the lads. Yeah. So you and 2 of your mates, 3 of yous, and you're buying rounds.
One rounds in town, in Liverpool town, comes to easily £20-25 for one set of drinks.
Yeah,
and that's if you're in a half cheap bar as well.
Yeah, and you're on a semi-cheap drink. Yeah. If you're starting to hit doubles and all the good
Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, you'll come on £150 light each.
Yeah, and then that's not even if you spot a little group of lumpy jumpers.
Yeah.
If you see a group of lumpy jumpers and you decide to start getting them drinks,
it
becomes a very expensive hobby indeed. 2 tanks of fuel, pisses all over, £150 depending on the economics of your car.
Yeah.
But those big cars, 2 tanks of fuel cost you more than £150. Clothes.
So we're just, I suppose, putting things into perspective.
Yeah.
So the things that we're talking about there as well, they're things that will not be there once you've spent your money.
Yeah.
If you buy a hydroponic system, a simple one like that, yes, some of the components you'll have to rebuy, i.e. feed and nutrients and whatever, but the hardware you've still got.
Yeah,
so it's like an investment.
If you look after it, keep it clean,
yeah,
it's going to be there for many years. Your light, easily keep your life for a year, couldn't you?
Easy. Well, we're going to guarantee it for a year.
Yeah, you keep your shade clean for your dust. Look after your bulb. Don't.
To be honest,
drop
if you didn't get 5 years out of your life,
So you just your ballast, you mean?
Yeah, your ballast.
Yeah.
Your bulb obviously has got a wear and tear and stuff like that, but most of these ballast kits and shades, they go forever. I've seen some 15, 20 years old. Do you know what I mean?
When you buy good kit.
Yeah.
Not the cheap kit.
Yeah.
Get that little dig in there. So it's cheap compared to some of the hobbies that people have out there. But on the other side of things, hydroponics can be expensive. It can be very expensive, thousands of pounds expensive.
I suppose that's like anything, though, Steve.
Exactly.
Anything that you want to get into, you know, if you do a hobby, I don't know, you play golf, buy
Very
a basic
expensive.
golf setup. I don't play golf, but I know I could probably go and buy a cheap beginner's setup for probably around £100 or £150. Give me a couple of clubs and maybe a little crappy bag that I would
Nice
like.
pair of fancy checkered pants.
Checkered pants, Burberry's.
You can't play golf without
But
checkered
then,
pants.
if I enjoyed it, thought, okay, a few months down this line, I managed to put that ball in that hole after 18 goes or whatever it is you do. I think, okay, I'm going to go and get myself a new set of golf clubs now and these fancy shoes with the spikes in and that. And then, you know, year down the line, I'm going to buy myself a golf buggy and that now because I'm loving it. It's the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's like in any hobby, you know, bicycles and clothing,
Computer games was the one that came to my head.
Yeah.
I've got a few nephews, a few stepbrothers, and they've got the Xbox One, PlayStation 4. One game for that PlayStation 4 Xbox One's like £50 for brand new. He's got like 30 of them. That's like £1,500.
And you know the crafty little gets as well, what they've done it so you can't lend the game to your palos. The kids was telling me the other day that, because they used to be able to swap games and go, I'll lend you that game and you can lend me a game.
Yeah.
But apparently now the little buggers have put like a code into it, so you can't lend anybody a game, so everybody's got to buy this bloody computer game.
Up.
Yeah.
That's crafty. It's good business though, isn't it?
Good business,
You've got to give it to them.
It's a bit horrible as well, though, isn't it?
It is. So, look, a computer game when you're 12, 13 years old can cost you £1,500. And I know from first-hand experience that those games become boring, they become outdated. They end up either taking them back to the shop and getting £2 each for them. So it's £1,500 gone. A lot of enjoyment, but it's gone. With the hydroponic systems, you've got it for life. Yeah. And you can build on it.
You don't get me wrong, you could walk into the shop and say, right, I want a unlimited amount of the most expensive equipment going, and that we could keep going and going. There's hydroponics on NASA space station. You know, it's like anything. As I say, there's a beginner line and there's
the advanced line.
Yeah.
And the great thing though, to wrap up this little myth, is that when you grow hydroponically, obviously you're growing plants. You're either taking your prize-winning orchids to shows and you're getting all the praise from having the best orchid, or you're growing giant vegetables and you're taking to competitions, you're in the Guinness Book of Records because you've got the biggest pumpkin, or you're just doing it as your hobby and you're growing your tomato plants, you're growing any fruit and vegetable or any consumables, and you've got something at the end of it to
and you've increased maybe your yield or your potency of your fruits and veg and whatever, so then you begin to see the benefits of doing this. Hydroponics. So
hydroponics is expensive. But like anything is expensive if you're passionate about it and you want to dig deep further. But it can also be really cheap as well.
So the myth itself, hydroponics is expensive. No, it's not. It's as expensive as your budget.
Yeah, and I like me big Ben Dong. So that hydroponic myth is busted. What do you think about that for a sound effect? I love it. I'm doing it every time. Next one.
Hydroponics is unnatural.
Is it?
Okay.
Let's
investigate. Is it? What's unnatural?
What's natural and what is unnatural?
I don't know.
I could be really facetious and say, well,
let's be. We enjoy that.
Humans are natural, aren't we? We are a product of the earth. We are natural.
Are we though? Because everything that we do on the earth is unnatural towards Mother Nature and the ecosystem. Agreed?
You could say that Mother Nature put humans on the earth.
Yeah.
And everything that we do is also natural.
Yeah, because of the chain effect of that.
Yeah.
But then, For the amount of time that we've been here, for the amount of damage we've caused, I don't think Mother Nature would be too pleased about
No,
that.
she wouldn't.
And I don't think we'll last as long as all of the other things that was here before us and will be here after us.
Definitely not.
Enough said.
To be honest, I watched the video the other day. It was a brilliant video. I'll keep it dead short. It was a video, and it was like you taking a plane journey from the east coast of America to the west coast of America. And what it was is that time in the plane, or that distance, was from when the universe first exploded 13.4 billion years ago. So this plane goes from, I have to correct myself actually, it went from the west coast to the east coast, and then it travels 200 miles and says the earth was formed. It goes another couple of hundred miles and says oxygen producing plants existed, and it goes on and on and on. And you need to watch the video to fully appreciate it. But then it lands in New York, and it lands in Manhattan Island, and zooms into Manhattan Island, and Manhattan Island, they land at the island and they say this is when the dinosaurs were created, and it zooms into a building and says this is when the dinosaurs went extinct and mammals started taking over, and it zoomed into a pavement and it did an inch on the pavement. It said that inch is the amount of time that humans have been on the planet. So you go from the west coast of America to New York on the east coast, and an inch on a pavement is the amount of time that humans have been on the planet.
That distance,
yeah. People also use it like a 24-hour clock. Humans have been on the planet for about 2 seconds, I think it is, in a 24-hour clock. And like you say, the damage was done. Very unnatural. So I'll let you have that one. We are a natural being causing unnatural
So
events.
back to the point. Hydroponics is unnatural, is it?
It depends on your perspective, doesn't it?
Why could that be a statement? Why do you think?
Let's look at the statements as people say it. Hydroponics is unnatural because it's
a lot of
something
people
that they haven't seen before.
So people are always scared of something that they don't know.
Yeah.
Not only that, a lot of people say it's like genetically modifying stuff, and
they don't understand the meaning of genetically modifying an organism.
Yeah.
Hydroponics is a method of growing a plant.
Do
We do not alter the genetics of a plant.
Talk about
forcing the plant into doing something it doesn't want to do.
And like using a lot of chemical sort of stuff.
Well, chemicals, plants don't understand what a chemical is. It understands what food is, and it takes up the food that it wants to. In soil and in organics, it has to work a little bit harder to get that food. With hydroponics, it doesn't have to work so hard to get that food. That's why we get better yields, because the plant expends less energy eating the food that it wants to eat, and therefore it can use that energy to grow bigger fruits and vegetables, bigger flowers, a bigger plant.
Can you explain to me, for my sake, please? So, organic nutrient, and then we have a normal nutrient.
Yeah.
Plants require chemicals to feed.
Yeah.
They require food.
Yeah.
Which is in a form of a chemical, i.e. nitrogen, iron, phosphorus, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So, organic, how does organic produce that? And what's the difference from it being produced organically and then chemically?
So the way I try to explain it to people is that if we look at a vegetable, a Brussels sprout is going to be the metaphorical organic nutrient, and a garden pea is going to be the synthetic chemical nutrient.
Okay.
So the plant, before a human could eat a Brussels sprout, it has to crunch it, masticate. That's a nice word for chewing.
Is that, are we allowed to say that? Is that explicit, that word?
Masticate.
Oh, okay.
Not the other one with the bake.
Okay.
So we chew the Brussels sprout in order to make it a size that's easily swallowable by us. Pea, you could just swallow dead quick because it's dead small. So the plant has to break down organic nutrients into a form that is readily absorbable into the plant. It breaks it down to nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and the other elements that it needs to absorb. Synthetically, they're already in their absorbable forms of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, so the plant doesn't have to do any work to absorb them. We're going to talk a little bit.
So, but what I'm trying to get to, my little point is, because I'm a little bugger, I like to get to the nitty gritty. So, an organic form of nitrogen and a synthetic form of nitrogen.
Yeah.
What is the difference between them two parts of nitrogen if they were of the equivalent amount of level or quantity or whatever that amounts into? So we have 1% nitrogen organic and 1% in these two vials. What's the difference? Is the synthetic one harmful and is the organic one What is the difference?
So one, the organic form is in inverted commas a natural form because it's from the earth, it's from plants. You get nitrogen from nettles, brood nettles.
However, we can use organic form in hydroponics.
We can, yeah.
Yeah. So, myths of hydroponics being unnatural because of chemical elements that we implement into it. If you don't want to use a synthetic element, you don't have to. You can use an organic element.
Usually organic, yeah. So, as humans have evolved, we've produced new methods of doing things, better ways of doing things, and sometimes it's harder for people to move with the times, but I think it's the most natural thing to do. It's an evolution of farming methods, so to speak. So hydroponics is unnatural?
I think people think that because hydroponics is a really different way from going into maybe a farmer's field and sowing a field and planting that, or maybe going into your allotment space and getting your beds and plotting your stuff in your beds, or going into your polytunnel and doing your polytunnel stuff. So because it doesn't fall into they don't think it falls into any of them categories, and that's why they think it's unnatural. But the funny thing is really that everything that I've just mentioned there is hydroponics is really quite natural and fits in there perfectly, and can make a lot more fun and exciting for what they were originally doing, and also a lot more accessible for people who maybe have disability or are elderly or struggle.
Children.
Yeah, because that's what we've been doing. We've been introducing hydroponics onto the allotments, and everyone's like, what's this? And we've been using basic
AutoPot,
gravity-fed system, so we don't need no electricity, no power. It's just a simple module system, and you can add them on. We've got them in the polytunnel. We've had tomatoes, cucumbers, chilies, all sorts. And because we don't have a lot of time to spend on the allotment, that's really a bonus for us.
It's a key point.
Our allotment always looks very well, considering the amount of time that we are actually on the site,
able to get there.
Yeah.
So for that myth, I'd say hydroponics is unnatural, not a chance.
What I'd say about that myth is, I'd say, yeah, okay, I'll let you say it is unnatural. I'll say, yeah, you can have. It is unnatural, but you know what? Us British people are renowned for doing is the same thing over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
Repetition.
Yeah.
We don't like to try anything new. So if you're a person who's petrified of doing anything new, I wouldn't suggest hydroponics. I wouldn't even suggest going out the front door, because you might come across something that's new and you won't like it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You probably eat the same food in the same place every single day. You go into your fridge and it's got the same dreary stuff that you buy out the same supermarket at the same price, and you do the same thing, monotonous, because you live on a roundabout and it goes round and round and round in the same place. So, yeah.
Hydroponics is not for you.
Yeah, I'd say hydroponics is unnatural in a way of it's different style of growing, and it's new, and it's not just new, it's innovative. It's completely different, but I wouldn't say it's unnatural in a bad way. I'd say it's unnatural and give it a go.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
some people might say it's unnatural to grow a plant in that form
indoors where there's no sunlight. That's not natural.
Why isn't it?
That's for them to. I'm not going to argue the point. I don't agree with it.
Okay, well let's see our indoor produce towards all the decimated outdoor producers because of Mother Nature. She decided her natural summer period last year and the year before was going to be higgledy-piggledy, and we done very well, and our crops were excellent, and the allotments weren't too good, unfortunately.
Do you know what else is natural? Hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes, thunderstorms. People die. And in massive tragedies all around the world because of these natural events. Sometimes those natural events aren't the best things. So if your argument is that all natural things are good, maybe rethink the argument.
Oh, that's a good point to finish on. I'm not going to say anything more. I think you've got them.
We're going to finish there. Keep them in, Rick. I like them. So, moving on to the next point.
Okay.
Hydroponics is for illegal plants like cannabis.
Oh, hydroponics is for cannabis.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
When I say illegal plants, I mean
how many
in the UK,
you know, if I had a penny or a pound even for every person who says, oh, so what you do? And we're into hydroponics. Oh, you grow cannabis. No.
Yeah, the conversation's quickly muted. And
I just turn
away.
around and walk away from them and think, you fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to make that explicit now, Rick, because I just meant it.
And when I say illegal, I mean for the UK and for other countries that should.
And you know the type of people, just let's just stereotype this type of person who, because I like to do this, the type of person who says that as well as always is stuck up, posh, one of them ones, you know, with the nose.
Daily Mail reader.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Hydroponics is for cannabis. I'm really educated, but I'm fucking thick as fuck. So
you should have seen the face he's pulling there.
I know. It just irritates me, some people's stupidity.
I put a little note down, I had a little thought before I thought I'd mention it. For the countries where it is illegal, isn't it funny that it's not illegal to grow plants like water hemlock, which is one of the most poisonous plants known to man.
I didn't know that. It's
not illegal to grow tobacco, probably the most poisonous plant known to man.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. There's a lot of very, very poisonous plants, deadly nightshade. If they were ingested, you'll be dead in a matter of days. They're not illegal. I think people can have them in the back garden. Why is that not? It's weird, isn't it?
It comes under all the corporate blanket of money and profit and organisation, but you know we've been into conspiracy. I think how many podcasts ago was that?
About 6-7 ago.
Yeah, we went on to that one, so we'll give that a rest for now.
But yeah, you've got
DEA and all that.
I found
sorry guys.
Just an interesting point. I thought it was interesting anyway. The water hemlock, which is a poisonous plant, closely related to poison hemlock, which is the plant that famously killed Socrates, made in Greece.
Yeah. Well, you know what I found out from yous earlier on? I was really surprised about that, and I'll just mention this because yous told me, and I was interested because we've all watched a bit of Breaking Bad, haven't we? And we've seen the way they use the part with the ricin. Yeah. Which is the
little powder that kills the little kid.
Yeah, I can't remember. That's what it was. To give it to the wrong person.
Yeah,
that was it. And you were telling me earlier on, what's that plant called? Castor oil.
Castor plant.
The castor oil. The plant that you get castor oil from.
Yeah.
Is the plant that produces ricin seeds.
Yeah.
And I think you said one seed is that dangerous, it would kill a small child.
Yeah.
And 7 seeds would kill an adult.
Yeah. That's the information I got off the internet. It hasn't been verified.
I just think that's crazy.
It's a highly poisonous plant.
And then plants are illegal or have a contraband on them?
Not that I know of, no. I think you can grow...
Get them in the shops.
Yeah, you can get them in the shops, apparently.
That's
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's madness.
Absolutely.
But the reason that people use it in the countries where it is legal to grow cannabis hydroponically is simply because it's the best method of growing a plant to its genetic potential. People use it to grow cannabis legally, and they do use it to grow it illegally.
Yeah. A lot of my pals in Humboldt County, California, they grow cannabis legally. A lot of them are outdoor growers as well, though, funny enough, but a lot of them are indoor. They prepare a lot of stuff, indoor stuff, as well.
They use it as well because of the best yields with the smallest use of land.
Yeah.
So that's why they use it. It's not, hydroponics is not for cannabis.
I know colleagues in our association from the US, once again, who specifically use hydroponics because of their quality. The quality of what they want from their produce is top of the chain, to be honest with you, and that's what they specify, and they can home in. Basically, they can monitor and measure and control every piece of element and food, nutrients, whatever, and every part of the environment, the 10 steering wheels and stuff and so on. They have got that in laptop form, controlled digitally, analysed every day and stuff like that. So it also allows a lot of control, rather than, i.e., outdoor growing, where you have a lot of issues, pest and disease is just
slugs,
leaf
miners, caterpillars,
outdoor humidity.
So what happens when those pests invade plants? And this farmer's crop,
this natural crop,
he's got spinach, grown it. Tesco's are about to buy it from him, and then he notices the slugs and the leaf miners and the caterpillars are about to devour his plants. What does he do? His family are relying on this crop to feed his family. Pesticide. In America, they have the big planes shooting over with the pesticides.
Well, everywhere we've got them. Everywhere's got them. Yeah,
or
them
you've got the
planes.
big sprayers.
Big tractors with the big jet things, and then you see on a sticker, no harmful pesticides used. Come on, let's be realistic here. Do you think if Farmer Joe has got his £150,000 bloody spinach crop on the field and it's looking to go down the Swanee pretty fast over the next week, do you not think he's going to go and get some Roundup out of the cupboard and start spraying it and then say to us that, well, listen,
if you wash it well enough, it'll come off.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah.
Yeah, there's some... I'll have a little think about that.
Don't get me wrong, though. I don't believe all farmers do that.
No.
In all honesty, I honestly believe a lot of farmers are very proud of their produce and do adhere to all the rules and
but that's,
stuff like
in
that.
inverted commas, that's the natural way to grow.
Yes. Yeah.
And hydroponics being the unnatural way to grow.
That was the point we were trying to highlight, and I think you make it very well, because in the natural environment, there's a lot of factors that you can't control. And in the unnatural environment, you can control everything.
Yeah. And that leads us on nicely to our next point. That I think we've mentioned this point before, but I think 90% of leafy greens in the UK are grown hydroponically.
Yep.
And 70% of the tomatoes and cucumbers that are consumed in the UK are also grown hydroponically in the big, massive polytunnels and greenhouses. What an unnatural way to eat food, eh?
Yeah.
What a sustainable source of tomatoes and cucumbers and leafy greens. We don't want that.
That's disgusting. It's unnatural.
Sarcasm word.
Yeah.
But it leads us nicely onto our next point, which is hydroponics requires no pesticides, none whatsoever. It's so completely clean, you don't ever need a pesticide. Well, that would be absolutely fantastic if it was true, but unfortunately not.
Nope.
These little critters do manage to find their way in.
If you don't control your environment correctly.
Yeah. You've got to give credit to them, haven't you?
Yeah, you can open the back door for these little gets to get in.
Yeah, we do have greater control of what gets in and what gets out.
Very, 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 very big control compared to the outdoor environment.
But they do get in. The thing is, with indoor grown hydroponically or greenhouse grown produce, we have critters that eat the bad critters. We have predators, we have nematodes. So if there's spider mites, then you can buy ladybirds or the aphids, the ladybirds that will eat the spider mites, and ladybirds to eat the aphids.
What's that thing called before the ladybird's a ladybird?
It's an aphid, isn't it?
No, because that's what it eats. It eats the aphids. It goes through them like a steam train.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember Jason showed us our AutoPot? We went to AutoPot last year. I don't know if you was there. No, I don't know whether you was you there?
Yeah, because I then went round with my little microscope watching.
And it was just literally, it was like...
It's like lava, isn't it? Larvae.
Yeah, and it just
ladybird
attacked
larvae.
them, and it was going through them, eating it, and then going on to the next one, eating it. I was thinking, oh my God, that's like a steam train. That's a good...
Natural.
Natural pesticide.
And a deterrent.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you did that outdoors, it happens to a certain degree outdoors, but then the ladybirds can just piss off and go somewhere else, or they get blown away by the wind. It's not great. Then they throw pesticides all over the place, and the ladybirds are killed. Indoors, you release the ladybirds, and they can't get out. So there's the food source is just there, so they just keep on munching and munching and munching away. So our first protocol for getting rid of pests is not pesticides, it's let's release these predators to get rid of it. If that doesn't work,
or also change some key features in the environment, so we can adjust the environment. So some predators only live in a certain type of climate. We can adjust our climate temporarily, so all of them buggers either die or pack the bags and move house because they do not like where they're staying any longer.
Example is the springtails.
Yeah,
they really like a
they love
moist,
the water. They love it when them people
overwater,
absolutely overwater, fill the basin or the drip tray with full to the brim water, and they wondering why they got pond skaters.
Yeah, they also obviously love to
they love
water.
to skate across the pond. So
now, if there's any other grow shops listening in the UK, good grow shops will give you this advice to the customers. If somebody comes in and they've got a pest, such as a water-loving pest like the pond skater or the springtail, don't immediately go for the pesticides. Don't immediately go for the chemical to get rid of them. Let your pots dry out.
Yeah.
If you're in auto pots, turn the tap off and let it dry out. If you're just growing in cocoa, don't water as much because they hate the dry environment. It'll actually kill them.
Yeah.
So once you give them a dry period for 2-3 days and it goes undry, plants might just start to wilt, but the pests will die. You give them a little flush through, and then you can crack on with the regime, and then monitor your environment. See how did they come in. Do you let dogs or any pets into your room where you're growing your plants?
My mate done that. Come home and all his plants were sitting on the floor with the dog on the carpet in front of the telly.
What did the dog like? Tomatoes or what was it?
You know what? It didn't even chew them up. It just picked them up. It was like,
it
you know
moved
what?
them.
It would have been handy. I was thinking you could have got that dog to work like, like in the big open fields picking plants, because it picked them all out with its teeth. Yeah, 20 of them. Lied them on the floor in a little line, as if like, look what I've done.
Yeah, I've done this for you, Dad.
Yeah.
Nice one.
It's laughing my head off.
So yeah, the benefits of hydroponics is a dramatic decrease in the amount of pesticide needed, and you can actually, even a good control, if you haven't got plants that, if you're not using smelly fertilisers, or you're not growing a plant that would stink your house out, like the tomatoes smell of piss, you can actually create positive pressure, can't you? So what the greenhouses do is they can create positive pressure so that the insects can actually get into the greenhouse because the air is being pushed out. Have you ever seen any of that happen? So instead of negative pressure, where we have a lot of negative pressure, it sucks the air into the centre of the room. Some of these people that are growing commercial vegetables and fruit will actually have positive pressure. The air inside is greater than the air outside. It pushes the air out and nothing can get in because it's being forced out.
I've heard of that one before, but you know.
So yeah, that myth has been denied. It does need pesticides occasionally, but a lot less than commercial agriculture. Yeah. Next one. Hydroponics is difficult to understand. We did that well then, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Like our accent, difficult to understand.
Yeah.
No, that's always difficult to understand, isn't it? When you get into hydroponics, though,
a lot of things are difficult to understand. I suppose it depends on a few different things. Is how much you're willing to learn, how intelligent you are or could be,
how passionate are you about doing.
Yeah, and when you enter into learning something new, it's not advised to end up in the deep end first. When you go swimming, for the first time, you don't jump in the 9 metre deep pond off the 100-foot high board, do you? No chance. That isn't going to work out very well.
It looks like you told me that from first hand experience.
Yeah, I did actually try that. Big slap mark right up my back. Yeah, wounded. So hydroponics is only difficult to understand. It depends. It's only as difficult as you wanted to make it.
Yeah.
Hydroponics is very simple. Very, very simple. One pot system with a basic float valve, and that's it. There you go. There's hydroponics in a nutshell. If you can't figure out how to work a float valve in one little piece of plastic at the bottom of a pot module, God help you.
Yeah.
I don't think you could.
To be honest,
you must struggle putting water in your watering can.
Yeah.
Every day must be a challenge for you,
Those people that don't go outside because it's a challenge.
Yeah. So
it's like me, isn't it? If you ask me to race a bike around one of them off-road motocross circuits, and you'll have a comedy video that's ready to go viral on YouTube very quickly. That's difficult for me. I would find it very difficult. But my point is, everything, like you've said, Thomas, everything is difficult when you first start, and then you learn, and then you become passionate if you enjoy it, and then you become better. And after a year, you knew a lot more than you did a year ago. 10 years' time, you could probably consider yourself an expert at that particular plant that you're growing with that particular method, and then it's not so difficult anymore. Everything is difficult when you first start.
As well, the key thing as well with this one is hydroponics is difficult to understand. Well, if you're a grower, cultivator, whatever, allotment grower or whatever, you understand the hardest part completely of what you're trying to achieve. Now, hydroponics is just a piece of equipment, is a tool, i.e. the same tool as your spade on the allotments, or your watering can, or your brand new windy up real hose with all the attachments and the extendable legs, and it folds up and does this into 3-in-1 and goes into the boot and clips onto the wall. You don't know how to work that until you get out the box, do you? and you try and put it together, it doesn't always work right, does it? There's always one bloody part left over.
Yeah.
That's just the same as hydroponics. It's just the same. You go and buy a new thing, put your plants in and go, oh, yeah, that looks good. Oh, let's have a look at that little instruction thing. Well, the guy in the shop said, okay, I'll put the valve in there, and then watch it, and then,
I don't get that. I might go on YouTube.
Yeah.
Watch on YouTube.
Or I'll go back to the shop,
it.
or I'll phone the lads at the shop.
Yeah.
And then the next thing, 3 weeks later, I've got my cucumbers growing out of this thing, and off I go. And I'm looking at it now compared to me other stuff. And that's it, you're off. You know, what's so hard to understand about that?
And it baffles me. It's not difficult. It's just, it's one of those things. If you enjoy growing plants and you like to take it a step further, learn, and it won't be difficult anymore. French is fucking difficult for me.
Yeah.
But if I learned it, I think I'd be pretty good at it. Same for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to be arse learning French.
You're brilliant at French anyway, aren't you?
Bonjour.
Yeah. Say fluent.
That's a shout out for my friend Frenchie.
So, next point. So we've busted that myth, haven't we?
Yeah, that's a crap myth.
Hydroponics is difficult if you don't even know what hydroponics is.
If you're brain dead from the neck up, yes, it's really difficult and you can't do nothing. So just stay in your house and don't do anything.
I reckon that should be the tagline of our podcast. You know, that's your favourite word. This hydroponics podcast, not for people that are brain dead from the neck up.
Yeah.
What's the next one, T?
You need to be scientific in your approach.
Yes. No, I'm just joking. No, I'd love everybody to be scientific in their approach of hydroponics because I am biased and I love science. It is one of my passions and I'm pretty obsessed.
Well, I'm not biased, but I do like hydroponics. I mean, fucking hell, it's a good job I like hydroponics.
It is a little bit of a good job.
I do like science, but obviously I don't get excited to stay over particles and fucking cell structures and all that blah. But I do understand that science is a key point to growing, cultivating, doing whatever you're doing. But it's not essential at the beginning.
Yeah, do you need it? So if you hated science and like everything about it, then I'm not going to be your mate.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. I would be your mate, but I'd convince you.
Yeah, but you don't need to be a scientist to begin in hydroponics.
Definitely don't.
No. But one thing I will guarantee, by the time you get a good way into it, you'll become a bit of a scientist.
You do.
Because then you'll start looking at temperature reading pieces of equipment, pH control equipment, EC control equipment, environment and extraction. You'll start to look at the weather.
Yeah.
You'll start to look at water, air value and nutrient value, and you'll start to study different things. You'll end up on YouTube. You'll become a bit of an expert. You'll be telling other people. It will make you into science. It will bring you into a bit of a scientist.
You might not think that you're into science, but if you're thinking now, oh, I don't like science, but you go and measure your pH, and your pH must be 5.7. If it's not, I'm going to do it all again. And
but it's funny because it drags you into science because you don't know the science bit, but you just know there's something up with your plant.
Yeah.
So then you go and find out, and it's something to do with science, i.e. the pH gateway.
Yeah.
So then you'd have to learn this bit of science then to get that right. So
you don't have to be a scientist, but
you're going to become
one. You will all become my friends because if you grow hydroponically, then if you like it or not, you're all scientists.
But your level of a scientific measure will determine your level of skill, I believe, in your growing life.
If you had one aspect and you decided to make it pH, or you had 10 aspects and they covered pH and EC and water temperature and the weather, then the guy who's got the 10 aspects is more than likely going to get the better result.
I'd bank on it. Yeah.
So we've busted that myth. You don't need to be scientific in your approach, but you will be.
Yeah.
Next one. Now this one really pisses me off.
Whoa. Is this real? Is this bloody typo? You get less taste growing hydroponically.
Yeah. That's loads of people. Again, them brain dead people, the snooty people that read the Daily Mail.
Well, we just need to answer that with one clean answer.
False.
Bullshit. Crap.
Nonsense.
Crap.
Get the thesaurus out and think more weird from now.
Yeah.
Blind taste tests show absolutely no difference in soil-grown products compared to hydroponically grown products. If you are a shit grower grown hydroponically compared to someone who's brilliant, like a farmer, at growing in soil, there's going to be a difference in taste. If you're a shit soil grower compared to a very, very good hydroponically grower...
I want to do this test. I want to do this testing in the shop.
And
we'll just test it on the customers, yeah. We'll just grow a load of strawberries hydro and a load of strawberries soil.
And say, tell
blind
us the
them, just a blind test. I'm not blind, people like this.
Throw the strawberries in their eyes.
Yeah, have a strawberry. Let's do that, because I want to see that test for myself.
Okay.
Because I don't believe everybody else's tests unless we've done them.
Okay, well, yeah, that's one more list of things to do. But we need, you know what I'm going to get off you? A bricks machine. That measures the sugar content.
It sounds expensive. All this bloody scientific gear is expensive.
It's not. Not when I'm not paying.
Yeah.
So, no, from the tests that I've seen, from the tests that we've done, from our own...
Well, I was just going to give you my personal view on that one. I believe that hydroponics is well better tasting than a soil produce.
When done well.
Because I can taste like a soily residue, sort of.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say that, but we're going to do that test again in the summer with some of the strawberries. Yeah.
And the cherry tomatoes. Do you remember them cherry potatoes? Them cherry potatoes.
Yeah.
Them cherry tomatoes grown in the AutoPots.
Yeah.
How good were they?
Unbelievable.
We ate them in the summer on the allotment. Fantastic. So, here's another one now.
Yeah,
so
this is a popular one, this is a quite common one. I think we have covered it before as well.
You did. And some of the same people that say you get less taste, they say, oh, all right, then you might get the same taste, but you're eating chemicals when it's grown hydroponically.
Yeah, you're poisoning yourself.
Yeah, and then if you eat all produce that's grown hydroponically, you'll be dead in a year.
Well, as we said before, you can grow with...
organic nutrients.
Or
synthetic nutrients.
Yeah. So the option is up to you, but I believe even if you still grow with synthetic chemicals... I believe the actual components of the chemical, what the plant uses, is the same as everything anyway. So I don't really believe in all of that. I believe you can overdose your plant and give it too much, and then give it a bad taste or whatever.
Yeah, actually, I forgot to put.
But a lot of people disagree with me. That's just my own sort of a little opinion.
Science wouldn't disagree with you because plants take up food ionically.
I just can't understand how a synthetic. Gareth, going to help me out. I'm going to ask him this question because it bugs me. This question. So I'm not going to go on about it anymore here. I'm going to find out the answer, and then I'll bring it back up next week.
Okay. What I want to say though is it touches a little bit more on the taste aspect. The reason why people get confused and say that hydroponics is less tasty than say organically soil grown produce is because what happens in organic soil grown produce, the plant breaks down the nutrients that it's got and takes up what it wants, how it wants, and whenever it wants it. It's quite hard to overdose when you're using organic nutrients in soil because the plant just stops breaking down.
Yeah.
So you can't overdose with hydroponics and synthetic nutrients. Very easy to overdose. When you overdose your plants with too much nutrients, you get that chemically taste from whatever it is you're growing. So that's because it's easier to overdose with synthetic nutrients. That's why people may think it's got that chemically taste, but it's just not true. It's just if you, like we said before, if you've got a good grower hydroponically and a good grower in soil, I put the test to you. Tell me the difference between the produce that's grown. But we're going to investigate that one a little bit more, aren't we?
Yeah.
Eating chemicals when it's grown hydroponically. I'm on the camp that says absolutely no. Plants take up ions of nutrients, whether it's organic nutrients or synthetic nutrients. If a plant could speak, it couldn't tell you, oh yeah, that's a synthetic ion of nitrogen, or that's an organic ion of nitrogen. They get taken up as
I'll agree on that one as well with you, Steve, but we'll investigate that a little bit further.
We'll do some more. Next one is using HPS lights or other high-powered lighting costs a fortune. Does it?
Well, we've got some figures here, haven't we?
Well, I just wanted to put into... It's hard to give proper, accurate figures because you get charged. Look on your energy bill. It'll say kWh, kilowatts per hour. And whatever you use, you pay for. You might pay 12 pence per kilowatt hour. Now, you can start to do your maths from there. I'm going to give you an example now. A tumble dryer uses 3,000 watts to run for however long that you're having on. 3,000 watts of energy to run a tumble dryer. That's one appliance in your kitchen. You've got fridge freezers, you've got washing machines, you've got dishwashers, you've got your games console, which I believe uses about 200 watts. You've got your air conditioning unit, you've got this and you've got that. You've got hundreds of appliances in your house. Your iron uses about 1,300 watts for one of these modern ones.
Mine uses fucking thousands because I forget to switch it off. Well, the missus always going on, you've left the iron on again. Wasn't me, that was you.
I didn't know you did the ironing.
Just turns it on and forgets about it.
Yeah. To pretend. I just switch it on, show it to me uniform. Go, look at that, there's the iron.
Yeah. Rick just said there, in case you wondered why I laughed, he just turns it on, forgets about it.
Yeah.
Thinks the magic fairies do it. Now, yeah, I've also written this. I had these thoughts, and I'm glad I write them down because I forget about them. Your Sky subscription costs you about £30 a month. Sky or Virgin, whatever your television provider is, it can cost you about £30 a month for a basic package. Now, a 600 watt light doesn't cost. It probably costs about that, doesn't it? It won't cost much more than £30 a month to run a 600 watt light. It depends on how many. If you've got it on for 24 hours or 18 hours or 12 hours. But it's not a massive amount. You've got to put it into perspective to whatever else you use and whatever else you buy. So using HPS lights costs a fortune, not compared to everything else in the house, it doesn't.
No.
And if it's your hobby, then it just becomes part of the cost of your hobby.
There's also different versions of lighting as well. So you've got some LED, low budget LED lighting. Yeah. You've got some compact fluorescent lighting. Yeah. So using the excuse of high-powered lighting cost a fortune is just an excuse. Sounds like you're not really that interested anyway, because if you are interested, you're going to do some research, you're going to get some advice from one of your local grow stores, go on a forum, whatnot, check out the kilowatt per hour, check out how much it's going to cost you. You can get a brilliant one of them little things from, we've got one in the shop, haven't we?
Yeah, ours is from
Eon.
Eon.
It's like a little
smart meter
thing, and you've got a little thing, and you plug it on the thing, and the thing just tells you this thing. And basically, what the thing does is it tells you anything in the shop. If you unplug it and plug it back in, it'll tell you how much power it's using, which is a very good feature because in the shop we was consuming quite a lot of power
in the winter when we had the radiators on.
Yeah, Steve's putting on these bloody fucking heaters, cost me a fucking fortune. So anyway, we binned all the heaters, I cut all the plugs off, barred the heaters.
Then the summer came and put the air conditioning.
Yeah, so they got the air conditioning on the gets. So anyway, but what we found out is a lot of different things around the shop that we shouldn't be on all the time. We're consuming a lot of power. So basically what we done is had a little tidy up. Yeah. Went round, got into Spaghetti Junction, unplugged what plugs shouldn't be plugged in, switched off some stuff that shouldn't be switched on, and lo and behold, we saved 100.
We went from 36 pence an hour to 12 pence an hour.
So we were saving like half the bill.
Yeah. So go round and do some investigating.
Yeah.
Turn your television off from standby.
Here's the top tip for you, even if you're not even a grower and you just stumbled onto this podcast and
well done for making it this far.
Yeah, you've done well. Yeah. Get one of them smart things and just put it in your house and have a look at all the stuff because it's quite interesting. Yeah. It shows you how much power you waste on stupid little things, and it shows you how much power just a kettle and an iron use. It's quite shocking, really.
I was shocked when it went up to like 80 pence an hour.
Yeah.
When you just flicked the kettle on. Yeah. The Hoover and all kinds of madness. But yeah, so does it cost a fortune? Not if you don't want it to. Use CFLs, use LEDs, and if you're that passionate enough and you want to get the best produce, you won't mind paying a little Sky subscription to run your 600 watt light. All about perspective. So we've done that one. That's myth busted.
Yeah.
Hydroponics, myth busted. There you go. Big bed. Next one. Hydroponics is not a safe venture because they are dependent on electricity and a shortage could ruin the whole crop.
Nah.
What's the short answer, Thomas?
Well, basically, that's why we have systems that don't depend on electricity and power and stuff like that. And with that attitude, see, all of these questions, I'm just like, oh, these just like negative attitude people who say all this stuff, who I'd just rather just turn away from and walk in the other direction.
Yeah, rather than creating a solution that
they're
problem.
these are the pint half empty. So basically what I'd say to you is before you start trying to rip the back out of hydroponics, I'd say, well, okay, so electricity and shortage could ruin a crop. So, look what Mother Nature's just done down south with all them floods.
Yeah.
Then people are still... That's like devastated them that much. For people in the US who don't know, or in other countries, in the UK, how many months ago was that now? Because you know what I'm like.
6 months
6
ago.
months ago, we had a continuous amount of rainfall. I think it was only for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks, was it?
Yeah.
And we're in the northwest of the country. This was down the south end of the country, right by the coast and stuff like that. And part further up the country as well.
The Lake
District even, in fact, this continuous rainfall absolutely blighted all of the crops and decimated them all, and really destroyed people's businesses, livelihood, businesses that have been around for hundreds of years, and I mean turned fields into lakes, and destroyed the land, farming, killed people, you know. So when you say, well, the lecky could go off, and well, we have systems that don't require electricity, we have backup things, it's a lot more controllable for us, as to opposed to outside, where you have no control. You can try and safeguard against certain things, but with hydroponics you do have complete control, and if something goes wrong, it's because of your fault, because of you haven't controlled it properly, not because this freak of nature's happened and we can't do nothing about it.
Well, listen to this. Where I live, the electricity supply in the UK is pretty good anyway, but where I live, in the last 9 months, the electricity's gone twice.
I remember you saying that.
The whole of my area completely went, and it was always on. The longest we were out without electricity was 6 hours. Yeah, that's the longest. Now, if you're without electricity for more than 24 hours, hydroponics is not safe. Yeah, because you could step on a stop end and it really hurt.
Or you know. I don't know. It's just like it's
pretty silly thing to say.
Yeah, it is just quite stupid.
But yeah,
I can understand the concerns with people though, because if they don't understand something, then these questions, I suppose, where we're looking at these questions, and I'm going, oh bloody hell, this is stupid. This.
Yeah.
When I don't understand anything, completely don't understand anything, i.e. football or something else, I could ask the most stupidest questions, so I can't look at it like that. And I suppose they are viable as well, because they probably do think everything runs upon one system, and if that doesn't work for a few hours, that is going to die. That's not the case. No. Far from the case.
If your electricity was gone for more than 24 hours, you might come into a few problems, because it takes about 24 hours for, let's say, for example, the DWC, deep water culture, it relies on oxygenation of the water for the plants to thrive. Now, if the electricity goes, the pump goes, the oxygen's going to be gone within 24 hours. So then you're presented with a problem. But like I said before, electricity very rarely. To be fair to the energy companies, they are very good at get your power back on if there's a problem.
And it's not the be all and end all, because you know, if you do have issues and stuff like that, there's continuous resolutions that we can work around and resolve for you quite easily. So all you have to do is go to your grocery store, local grocery store, or go on one of the forums and let them know what your issue is at that time, and they can work around it and resolve it quite easily.
Just off the top of my head, somebody comes in and says, my electricity's gone. They said it's going to be 24 hours. I'm in DWC, I've got one plant, it's going to be knackered. Well, if they were 24 hours, if it's more than 24 hours, it starts to present a problem. So what I would say to that customer is, get on your hands and knees and start blowing into that air stone. You'd be there for ages.
Or get a couple of hamsters and build like a pump system, so the hamsters keep running and it's blowing air into the air stone.
We're going to have to start sourcing some hamsters, aren't we? No, what I would recommend to anybody that happens to is to remove 95% of the water out of your DWC bucket. The top roots are actually oxygen roots, so because you've removed all that water, the natural air around the roots is going to feed them sufficiently with oxygen until the time that the power comes back on. You can fill your water reservoir back up, and then you can oxygenate the water.
And if it turns out that we've gone to a zombie apocalypse and all the power's cut forever, what you need to do is transplant it all into soil pots.
Yeah.
What?
Solar powered pump.
Yeah,
Solar power pump.
solar power pump.
What if the zombies block out the sun?
Nuclear.
Go,
Air
go.
pump.
Nuclear air pump.
No, we'd just get a tent. We'd get the hamsters again with the solar power and the light.
It turns out hamsters are really important.
No, we'd just
in
get
world
the
apocalypse.
zombies. We'd lock the zombies up in like like one of them, you know, the big merry-go-round thing, and get them to run round in a circle, chasing something, and just get them to.
Create that over.
They could be the work engines.
Yeah, there's a solution to everything. Hydroponic zombies. You heard it here first. We might do an episode on that.
It always goes a bit mad when we get to the end, doesn't it?
When stupid questions start popping up like fucking hydroponics and
This last one's funny, but it is a popular one.
Well, look, let's go to Twitter and Facebook, because I put it out there that we were doing this podcast.
Okay.
And I asked people to send in some questions. So let me have a look through the Twitter. If you're not on our Twitter, get on the Twitter. It's NPK Hydroponics. It looks like everybody's been interacting with the Facebook though. So let's see what they've got to say. Andrew,
He's a trap. Shut up. Get elocution lessons.
Yeah. I can't understand what you're saying. Fucking shut up.
Yeah.
Right, where are we? Andrew Teddy Perry. Shout out to Andrew.
Big shout out to Andrew.
Been a loyal follower for many, many years.
Many, many years.
I hope you're doing well, buddy. Your question is, does classical music enhance the growth of plants?
Okay.
So, I thought it did, but
I thought it was rap.
Did you think it was rap? Bit of
Gangster
Snoop
rap.
Dogg,
Yeah,
gangster rap. My favourite's a bit of just Bach. He's the classical composer. You like Tupac, I like Bach.
Okay. But we have got some real information on this.
We have, well, as I did a little bit of research, because this question was asked earlier, it turns out that there's been actually a few tests done on it.
Sub-harmonic waves.
Yeah, that's essentially what part of playing music can do. We had, what was the machine you understood, because you had a lot to
So
do
a
with
while
the
ago,
machine.
we done a television,
Hydro TV. Yeah.
with Hydromag, and we done a store competition, didn't we?
Yeah.
Obviously we won, as always. And we were talking about, it was a tent with loads of goodies. It was Pimp My Tent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We done Pimp My Tent. So basically we had a tent in our shop, a tent in the other shop, guys up in Newcastle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And basically pimped this tent out with everything. A 2.4 by 1.2 tent. And in our tent we put a hydroponic, fully automated digital system in. We put state-of-the-art digital light with state-of-the-art bulbs, reflectors.
It's on YouTube if you want to watch this. See the
check it
episode.
out on YouTube. You can also find it out on our webpage. Go to videos and links and stuff like that. And we had a nifty piece of equipment called the BioWave Mini. Now, it looked like it took us a lot of takes to record this because I could not get this bloody sentence that I'm trying to remember now, and I'm going to try and say it in one take now.
Okay.
Now, the BioWave Mini releases subharmonic waves which open stomata.
Yeah. That's correct. Done in one take.
Done in one go, yeah, and it took me bloody
10 goes. You can actually see the outtakes,
yeah,
can't you?
you can watch the outtakes of me cocking that right up. It looks like a little Dalek. It looks like this. What does it look like? It looks like a Dalek.
It does, yeah.
R2D2 off Star Wars. That's what it looks without the legs. And
now.
yeah, and it's got like these things that when you plug it in, it spins. Now, when it spins, it makes a tune, a subharmonic wave. In theory, what these scientist people have said, that the plant, this is the exact tune, wave length, or whatever it is, that the plant's open stomata. So, the theory of music, classical music, any music, whatever it may be, does it work? I think yes, it does, if it's in line with the subharmonic wave, what the scientists think that the plant needs.
Yeah.
I think the plant needs rap music, so I play a Tupac.
I think you've got that spot on. So, Andrew's question of, is it true that plants love classical music, or is that just a myth? It definitely can't hurt.
Yeah.
Classical.
Well, my plants don't like classical, so
Don't
they like rap.
Okay. Man, well, bit of further research that the scientists actually looked at.
They're not
heavy
feeling
metal.
Kanye at the moment, though.
He's a fucking, even the plants think he's a bell end.
Sorry, you guys in the US. I know everybody thinks he's God and stuff, but I can't stand.
I don't
the
know
guy.
if they do. You know,
I don't know. I hope they don't, because he is such an arsehole.
Yeah,
why is he such an arsehole?
Since he started going out with that Kim Kardashian,
Yeah,
he did that college dropout. He did loads of great albums, and then he's just turned into a fucking arsehole.
Yeah,
and he got on stage and thinks he's the next Freddie Mercury.
You know what I don't get about all these people? Why do they always turn into monsters? Why don't they just be nice people?
I know. Money does horrible things.
I suppose it's entertaining to watch them make a fool of themselves on the TV, though, isn't it?
It is.
Saying that, though, people probably say that about us
on the
this
podcast. Why they should bell end.
Yeah.
So, myth, no. I'd say it does help.
Yeah.
And the science is starting to sort of say that it can help as well. Go on Google, type in "does music help plant growth," and you can see some of the.
And go on to BioWave. Type in BioWave on Google. A subharmonic wave for plants.
Just sit down before you see the price of it.
Yeah, fucking hell.
That would make a hydroponics.
Yeah, the little one which fits in the 2.4 by 1.2 tents, 1,500 quid.
Yeah, I think the big ones.
And to be honest, when you look at it and I sit there and put it on and stand there on it, it looks like a little gadget you'd have in your living room. You know, like a lava lamp.
Yeah.
Or like one of them things that you push all the pins in. It's just like one of them. And you just don't know whether your plant likes it or not.
Is it natural though?
That's not natural, but you know.
It's tough on that, isn't it?
But okay, so we haven't finished there. So natural. So if they did like classical music or subharmonic waves, what the scientists say, and the people say they like music, in general. Where do they get that from in the natural environment? And what would it be as? I would say birds.
And the bees.
And the songs of the birds and the bees.
And the vibrations.
Yes.
Of the bees' wings.
And bats. Subharmonic as well.
Sonar.
Yeah, sonar, that's it.
Yeah, so we've just replicated what happens in nature, haven't we? Very natural. Does the BioWave Mini work? That's up for debate.
Yeah.
There's
been testing and stuff like that. We haven't tested it. We only got loaned it for about 2 minutes.
It was too expensive to leave those scousers.
To be honest, I just don't know.
I wouldn't bother with it.
No, I'd just play music.
Just
get your radio. Get the
put Radio 1 on. Listen to some...
But iTunes in there.
As long as it's not Kanye.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a song. Let's do a song at the end of this podcast. At the end of this podcast, we're going to put a song on, and then you can play it to your plants and see if they respond to it.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah. Plant dancing song.
Yeah, a plant dancing song. A PDS.
Yeah.
We've got one more question here before we sign.
That's quite funny, that, a PDS.
Amanda from Buddha's Tree. Shout out to Amanda and Buddha's Tree.
Woo!
Is it true that high humidity is detrimental in flowering phase?
It's not good.
It's definitely not good.
Definitely. Because that guy comes along called Botrytis. Mouldy guy.
Yeah.
And decimates all.
He does. He infests himself in high humidity. Pathogens. The Botrytis pathogen loves humidity and loves water and can actually absolutely destroy tomatoes, destroy strawberries. If you've seen your strawberries sitting in a little packet and you see half of them's caved in with that grey, bluey mould, that's botrytis.
Yeah.
And it's devastating to people. So that's why we tend to have a humidity of about 40 to 50% in the flowering stages for fruit plants and for vegetable plants.
Also, it also helps along a lot of critters to come and live alongside as well.
Yeah.
So it just creates more of an environment for them to create more problems for you.
Yeah.
So if you just reduce the humidity in your fruiting period.
Nature does it as well, doesn't it? In the summer, when we've got the long daylight, which replicates 18 hours, it's quite humid because of the.
Well, I know
heat.
a few of the guys from California, Humboldt.
To be honest, now you've said that, Humboldt have just tweeted us. They like everything we do. The Humboldt County on Twitter. Shout out to you guys. You're always liking.
Killing it, smashing it. Love what you do. But yeah, what I was going to say about them guys as well. You know, the some of their outdoor grows and the cannabis, legal cannabis grows. Yeah, I'm talking about these planted trees. They're not plants, the trees. and I'd say probably standing 16, 15 feet tall. I've seen some videos, unfortunately I haven't been out there to see in person, not yet anyway, but I've seen plenty of videos where the guys have had to show me, because they can't control the humidity outside in an outdoor grow. Unfortunately, it's great for the growing period and whatever and whatnot, but then when these plants get so dense, and believe me, I've never seen anything like it, they lose a majority of the plant to botrytis.
So they've got these massively high yielding plants,
but they only get probably half of the plant back
because of the bloody botrytis.
Yeah, which is an element in a natural environment which cannot be controlled, where in a unnatural environment your crop would have been a lot more successful.
Would have succeeded to the end, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting enough, for those people, Thomas's, one of your vines is doing amazing in the allotment polytunnel, the grapevine.
Yeah.
Something interesting about botrytis. Grape growers, certain grape growers actually encouraged botrytis and have high humidity in the flowering stages because it alters the taste of the wine when they crush the grapes. I don't know if it makes it more acidic, more palatable.
Oh, well, that's not going to be a problem for us because we still haven't cut the holes in the polytunnel, so it's going to be sweltering in there again this year.
Yeah. No, we have. We've got that green mesh, haven't we?
We've got the bottom one.
Yeah.
But when we doing around the sides because it was still that hot.
Yeah, we do need to cut that side bit out. So, anything else on Twitter? No, these are all you Twitter people, you just like to like. You don't comment on it. Humboldt Secret liked the podcast. So that's it. That is that. Next couple of weeks, I would like to do a Q&A session. You know, like Gardener's Question Time?
Yeah.
We're going to do hydroponics question time. And I only published this morning that we were doing the Myths podcast, so we only got 2 or 3 questions there. But I'm giving you all the opportunity now. Send us in your questions via...
Let me just do a little jog as well of some bits and bobs up and coming.
Yeah.
So we've got an event on the 25th of this month.
Yeah. So
which is next...
Well, this goes out on Sunday, so this will be this Wednesday
coming.
This Wednesday for coming. Anyone in the northwest area.
Yeah, Liverpool shop. We are having the...
CANNA Day,
which is the route to CANNA.
The route to CANNA, yeah.
And we are one of the lucky shops to be doing this. There's only a selected few across the UK. It's going to be a very big sponsored event.
Yeah.
There's going to be some giveaways, some freebies. We've got some free food and drinks.
Yeah.
Some music, some interesting things going on.
Water testing. If you want to bring your water down from the tap, the CANNA team will testify and tell you what your water's about.
Yeah.
Quite interesting. We are doing reduced prices on all CANNA, so you can get things like your 5 litre CANNA Boost for £150 instead of £160.
Yeah. So
just a day.
Get your ass down and get some freebies because the CANNA always give out the freebies.
Yeah. Even if you don't want to buy anything, come down and
if you're one of our customers, just get your asses down here because you've been spending your money all year long. Yeah. So you're entitled to have some freebies.
Yeah.
And if yous come down, I promise I will ransack CANNA for you. Okay. I will terrorise them to give all of my customers some freebies because you've been spending your hard-earned all year long. It's only fair they share the love.
Yeah. Any other things that you want to mention? That's the most recent thing.
Yeah, just that.
So come down on Wednesday if you're in the area. Everybody that's listening on the podcast, we want you to send us your questions that you'd like us to answer. We give our little spin on your questions. Because to be fair, you can ask the questions on Google and get pretty quick answers. But if you want to hear us talk about it and discuss it,
and cross-examine it and take the piss out of it,
send us your questions in. The other thing that I wanted to say, which I thought about at the beginning of the podcast, is that everybody that's listening to this Hydroponics podcast is... I'd say 100% already interested in hydroponics and laughs with us at the questions that have just been asked. So do us a favour, share and help us promote the podcast. We keep it free. We don't have any adverts. We don't have any sponsorships.
No.
So we bring you the real deal.
We ain't having no adverts on here because I hate adverts. I fucking hate adverts.
They're just boring,
especially when you're watching a film in your house and it's just about to get them. And the advert comes on for fucking Optical Express and fucking shit.
The new Nissan has just arrived in shops.
And then you end up getting up and thinking, I'll go to the cupboard and get the munchies out and that.
Put the kettle on.
And then you come back and the bloody film started again and you've missed the bit you needed to see. You can't remember what he said.
I'll be back.
Yeah, so we don't do adverts.
No, and we never will. We don't do sponsorships because we want to give you the honest, our absolute 100% honest opinion.
if you're a company who thinks you want to sponsor us, well, you can't. But you can give us your stuff.
Yeah.
And me and Steve will use
We'll
it.
test it. If you think your products are good or not.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll test your stuff. And we will talk about it as we test about it. Just because you give us your stuff doesn't mean we're going to go, ooh, this is amazing. And no.
Well,
it could end up egg on your face.
It could
so
do.
you need to be aware of that.
If you've been kind enough to send us your products, I'm going to give a shout out to Bloom Boss LED.
Yeah.
They listened to the LED where we slated Kind because of their shit customer service.
Yeah, shit. Don't buy a Kind LED ever because they're crap. Oh no, sorry, I'm lying. They're really good, but they just break straight away, which makes it crap.
So Bloom Boss heard the podcast. They've got in touch with Nutriculture, who's one of our distributors up in the northwest, and we've just received the Bloom Boss LED. He sent me a really, really nice email saying about how he values his customers and his customer service is top notch, as well as his light being top notch. So we received that. It's going to go winter testing soon, and not to scare anybody, if we get your product and we test it, we're not going to jump straight on podcast and say it was shit.
No,
we will give you feedback.
It's got to be tested. Let's have a list of the ones we've got on in the superstore now. We have Budmaster, Spectrum King, Kind LED, Mars Hydro,
Razor,
Bloom Boss.
What's the other ones?
HP4S.
We've got another one which is already in test.
What's the miniature one called as well? We've got the micro SANlight as well. That was a micro version of.
Yeah.
So I'm to be honest, I'm liking the look of that one as well.
Okay. So yeah, we will give you feedback. But the point was, we're not adverts, not sponsorships. So all we do is we ask our listeners to help us share, promote. If you like the podcast, tell people about it. If you don't like the podcast,
tell them about it.
Tell them about it.
Yeah,
sell them. Promotion.
Yeah.
And that's that. So send us your questions, help us promote the podcast. And if you want to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, give us a follow.
And a big shout out once again to all our listeners from all over the world. And thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you to Amanda and Andrew for sending your questions in within the 2 hours that I put the post up on Facebook. I appreciate it. To all you listeners, have a lovely Sunday. Hope you've enjoyed today's podcast on myths, and we will be back next week with something I think about this week.
Sounds good.
Take care, guys. Speak to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Yo, Mo B, man, drop that shit. You know what time it is. Ooh, yeah. Y'all know what it's time to do. So grab one by the hand, you know what I'm saying, and throw up that finger. Hey, yo, throw y'all fingers up. Yeah. Thug style, baby. Thug style, you know. Come here. Tell me, baby, are you lonely? Don't wanna rush you, I can help you if you're only. Let me touch it from wrong, love, tell me. Cause I get caught up in the life I live as hell. See, I never thought I'd see the day when I would calm down. You ain't heard, I've been known to clown and get around. That's my word, see you walking and you're looking good. Yes indeed, got a body like a sex fiend. You're killing me with your attitude to match mine. Don't be phony cause I hate it when you act like you don't know me, I've been stressing in the spotlight. I want the fame but the industry's a lot like a crap game, ain't no time for commitment. I gotta go, can't be with you every minute, miss another show. And even though I'm known for my one night stand, look here, I wanna be an honest man, but temptation's going. And you know what, baby, it's like, throw up the finger. All my homies going. Give them the finger. And you know what, baby, it's like, throw up the finger. All my homies going. Give them the finger. Will I cheat or will I be committed? Heaven knows getting weak and I wanna hit it. So here I go in my ride and I'm all in. Getting high, I can hear the people calling. I'm passing by, everybody knows I'm ballin'. And the God gotta keep myself from falling. But it's hard, all the cuties know I'm under pressure. What do I do? Getting shaky when she pull the dress out and say it's cool. Should I stroke or should I wait a while? You decide if you tell me that you don't want it. That's a lie, move closer, let me whisper some dirty words in your ears as I kiss ya. On every curve, slow down, baby, don't rush. I like it slow, can't hold it any longer. So let it go. Open the gates to your waterfall, I'm in heaven. And don't worry, I let myself. All I heard was. And you know what, baby, it's like, throw up the finger. Throw my homies going. Give him the finger. And you know what, baby, it's like, throw him the finger. Throw my homies going. Give him the finger. A lot of people think it's easy to settle down, got a woman that'll please me. In every town I don't want 'em, but I gotta do it. The temptation got me ready to release the flame. The sensation, sit down and conversate like you know me. Take my hand, cause even thugs get lonely. Understand, even the hardest of my homies need attention. I catch you blowing up the telephone, reminiscing. I wanna take you to the movies and the park. A quiet spot for you to do it in the dark. Now that's passion. Hold me tight, don't need lights, I can see you by the moonlight. I know your man ain't loving you right. You're lonely and depression, need a thug in your life. Enough talking, you want me to leave, I'll get to walk and see you later. Cause baby, I'm a player, and all I heard was. And you know what, baby, it's like, throw up the finger. Throw my homies going. Give him the finger. And you know what, baby, it's like, throw up the finger.